You probably would have heard by now, since almost 5 months ago, on February 16, 2023, our Prime Minister Antonio Costa announced a series of measures to address the housing crisis in Portugal. To end the Golden Visa program was one of them. And since then, we did a total of 5 updates on our social media with different progress and of course also with different potential deadlines. These updates were all based on our own knowledge, the Portuguese media, and the feedback we have from the lawyers we work with. So today, instead of another update, we want to share how we really feel about the Golden Visa program and some interesting facts and statistics and how it really impacted the real estate market in Portugal. If we zoom into the Golden Visa investors, their weight in the market at this moment is close to 1%. Also, if you're still interested in getting a second citizenship by investment, what options do you have? So stay to the end. Hi, for those of you who already know us, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I am Mia from Mall Portugal. My partner Rafael and I founded Mall Portugal, and we help our clients to buy and renovate properties in Portugal. So many of our clients who are buying properties in Portugal are applying for Golden Visa, and we mainly help with clients who are investing through real estate for their Golden Visa applications. Just to give you a little bit background on the Golden Visa program in Portugal. In December 2022, the Golden Visa program had a major change, and since then you can no longer invest in residential properties in big cities and the majority locations of the coastal area. With this change, we have a new list of eligible areas that is differentiated by if it's a low-density area or interior territories. For the low-density area, you can get a property that is older than 30 years old and requires rehabilitation to meet the minimum threshold for 280,000 euros, including potential renovation, and interior territories for 350,000 euros. And for the ones who know Portugal, it's easy to understand. With this updated legal framework, the investments are directed to the area where the development is needed rather than the entire country or already developed regions of Portugal.
So this means foreign investors have been greatly helping the country and in many ways helping bringing the investment and development in many of the small villages and towns in all of the eligible areas. And with their investment, they are creating many jobs, not only in real estate and construction, but also in hospitality and in different other services. Also helped the country have more to offer in terms of tourism. So when we are working with a Golden Visa client, our job is to make sure that first, the property meets the legal requirements and it's also a good investment property. The entire process involves us, listing agent or seller, lawyers from both sides, architects sometimes, and contractors. And it will take an average of 1 to 2 months from start to finish just to get the property side of things ready for their Golden Visa application submission.
So it's safe to say that since February 16th, we have been under a lot of pressure to race with the potential unknown deadlines to get everything ready for our clients. We experienced this rush in 2021 when they were about to change the eligible areas to buy properties for Golden Visa application. It was extremely difficult to try to speed up every step of the process so our clients won't miss the deadline. We actually had partners who were having meltdowns, crying on the phone due to the pressure, and got completely overwhelmed by the amount of work that needed to be done. We thought we would never have to experience that again, but never say never. So when back in February this year, when we heard first time the Prime Minister saying the Golden Visa program was going to end, we couldn't believe it. Especially because the Golden Visa program had a major adjustment at the end of 2021, closing all of the most attractive locations. And the reason or the suggestion raised by the Prime Minister himself was to help solving the housing crisis, which was mainly in the major cities that are not eligible for Golden Visa already. So it was very baffling. To me, as a foreigner who has been here for over 6 years, Portugal's real estate market indeed changed a lot The prices have been increasing over the last couple of years for both buying and renting. The Golden Visa program was designed to inject investment into the country, and it has been living to its potential, especially the part that requires rehabilitation. If you look at downtown Lisbon today, when I was here for the first time over 12 years ago, downtown Lisbon did not look like what it looks like now. The lifelong rental contract was still very common. As I understand it, it was like rent control leases. Tenants who were under the contract were paying very little money to the landlord for a lifetime. We are talking about 50 euros, 70 euros, or 100 euros per month. So being a landlord back then couldn't get much return. Therefore, there's never sufficient funds for the owners association to do anything to improve the buildings. So you would see a lot of buildings were being neglected. Many you could tell just by look at the facade. Therefore, there was a lot of buildings in desperate need to be rehabilitated. And outside of the major cities, things are looking very similar too, but for different reasons. In Portugal, the law of inheritance is very, very family-oriented. I don't mean nuclear family. I mean nuclear family and extended family. This could be your uncle, your brothers, besides your spouse and your children. And the list gets longer if some of the heirs get remarried and have more children. We have many clients ask us why they see so many abandoned houses and buildings in the countryside or small villages. This is a major reason. When so many heirs owning one property, especially in non-big cities, heirs are spread out living in different places, sometimes even different countries. Combined with the fact of low property tax, we're talking about 0.3% to 0.45% of urban buildings, for example. And the percentage is actually not based on the market value of the property, it's actually based on the value that gets registered in the tax authority years ago. So of course it's way easier to leave the properties there and pay very little per year than gathering every heir to discuss and spending money on renovating it or agreeing on the selling price. I personally love the architecture in Portugal. Rafael also. So when we see a lot of historic buildings and properties are basically collapsing, it really saddens us as we could really see the potential. But without Golden Visa, there's definitely much less chance to get it rehabilitated.
It also surprised us hearing the Prime Minister in February announcing that they will submit to the Parliament the proposal of law for ending the Golden Visa program to avoid speculation in the market and to help addressing the housing shortage in Portugal. It's true that the property prices in Portugal have been rising. It's more and more difficult for locals to have a place to live, but can Golden Visa be responsible for the significant growth of the property prices in Portugal? This is the question. First of all, since 2012, when the program started, till date, only 12,396 Golden Visa applications have been approved, and out of it, 11,181 applications are pure investment via real estate. Now, let's look into some official numbers from INE, the official statistics of Portugal, as examples. Right after the change that ruled out Lisbon residential properties from the Golden Visa program, just in 2022, among all of the residential properties that were sold in Portugal, 41.7% were sold in Lisbon metropolitan area, worth of 13.3 billion euros. Compared to the previous year, although the program had ended in Lisbon, the property prices have risen. To give you an idea, between December 21 till March 22, the prices in Lisbon rose 2.3%. Now we are in 2023, and in the first quarter of this year, prices have risen 15.2% compared to the same period last year.
Now let's take a look at the impact of the Golden Visa program by comparing the number of transactions annually in the real estate market in Portugal in 2022. There were a total of 167,900 transactions of residential properties with a total amount of 31.8 billion euros. Out of the total amount of transactions, 10,722 were made by non-residents, representing 6.39% of the total. Also meaning that 93.6% of transactions were made by residents in Portugal. And out of 6.39%, more than 50% were made by EU citizens. That leaves us less than 3.2% of the total transactions for non-residents and non-EU citizens. If we zoom into the Golden Visa investors, their weight in the market at this moment is close to 1%. Only with 1,008 property transactions in the entire year of 2022.
So I'm sure you can draw your own conclusions. Now comes our own personal opinion. For me, as a Portuguese, this is pretty much an easy way to find the blame rather than solving the real problem. To find something to blame, to justify politicians' inability, and still try to elude the public. The real problem resides in continued policies from even different political parties that have been keeping people's income low. And this is the real reason for the housing crisis. Also, the inability at different levels to deal with the real estate market in a way to go directly to the roots of the problem and to make sure that everyone has a proper place to live in regardless of their income. This including also finding better solutions for licensing and permits and approving new constructions for helping regulate the markets and having a practical and reasonable plan for a regulated rental market, specifically for the lower income group. This would definitely make a better choice and would actually help people. Historically, the left wing of the parliament has been pushing for ending the program. They claim that the Golden Visa program favors the rich people and it's a way for them to launder money. We can guarantee you that it's not the case from our own perspective and experience. It's even not easy to open a bank account in Portugal for non-residents. The hoops you need to jump through, the documents you need to provide for compliance, it's definitely not the best way for laundering money. To share a bit more of our own experience with clients, very often we have clients who are taking loans from their home countries, their friends and families, from their companies, just to get a backup plan and the second chance from themselves and for their children. Some of them come from very unstable countries where even the bank system collapsed, so their money is frozen. Some others have to worry about whether their kids will get shot in school every day. We generally feel like instead of full transparency of how to solve the housing crisis, just pointing blank and blaming the Golden Visa program won't be productive and effective to find the real solution.
And we believe small towns in Portugal have so much potential. And we have seen firsthand that Golden Visa investment has been a great help to get some parts of the city and town a facelift, to improve the living environment and to create more jobs. And we have so many places in Portugal that only old people live there nowadays due to the local economy.
We're living in a global world. Globalization is everywhere, and just like it's happening in many other countries in the world, people are moving also to Portugal. And definitely Portugal checks so many boxes, from friendly local people, nice weather and beautiful sceneries, food, wine, and most importantly, it's safe and peaceful.
It will be a real pity to see the Golden Visa in Portugal end. At this moment, everyone is in the dark. For this reason, we actually have clients hired us to find Golden Visa properties in both Portugal and Spain at the same time. And when the program is no longer available, you can still relocate to Portugal on D7 visa, digital nomad visa, and other visa options.
And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. As always, if you find this video helpful, we would kindly ask you to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We post new videos every week. Don't forget also to follow us on TikTok and Instagram too, as we are quite active there as well. And if you're interested in purchasing property in Portugal, make sure to watch this video here, where we debunk the most common misconceptions that foreigners have about purchasing property in Portugal. So see you on the next one. Bye.